Jeff Adult Child, welcome. This is Healing Shame. Today is June 20th, where I am, and I will be honest with you, I am off. I am spiritually off track, mentally. I'm in some kind of depression. This happens from time to time. I get a disheveled appearance. I'm not wanting to shave. I'm comparing myself to others. The critic returns. I'm not eating. I'm not taking care of myself. Um, Yesterday, I talked to my therapist. He can't work with me anymore because I'm not in the country. Some new bullshit policy in the States. So, in the USA, I can't do that right now. It's going to be hard to find a therapist. I'm planning a trip that is not going well. I'm not getting any results. I'm not finding the kind of trip I want. I want to go to Tibet. I want to explore. I want to get out and hike around. And there's nothing available in July for me to do the trip that I want with a good, reputable company. So there's a lot going on here, and I'm kind of irritated. I'm irritated. I'm irritable, restless, discontent. So, and perhaps some of this is just unprocessed grief too. But those are a few things going on with me. I'm isolating also. I'm alone. I'm isolating. There's a lot going on. It feels like a relapse, an emotional relapse, because usually when there's some kind of slip or relapse like this, you go back into an old family role. You're not taking care of yourself. There's self-harming behavior, isolation, return of the critic. It might be, but I have hope too. I also have hope. And anyway, that's a long intro today, but let's get the reading on your screen. Today is June 20th, and here we go. June 20th, grief work from Strengthening My Recovery. Grief work can take many forms and can bring some of the greatest rewards of the program. Some grief work involves journaling, in which we write about incidents in our life and reflect on the feelings we had at that moment. Big Red Book, page 202. We ignored our grief because it did not seem like it belonged to us. For years, we didn't feel we had permission to feel sad or to experience loss. In our families, we were taught to not talk, not trust, and not feel. No one ever sat us down and told us that explicitly, but we knew that was the rule. One of the tools we use in recovery is the art of journaling all of the things we've been holding in for so long in order to help us get in touch with our inner child. An effective writing variation is the non-dominant handwriting exercise described in the Big Red Book. It is a powerful way of getting clues to stored trauma in our bodies. We allow that hurt to surface and provide ourselves the space to heal, to cry, to bleed, to sob, to laugh, and to experience the joy we were robbed of as children and even adults. It's one of the ways we get to the other side of our grief. Our mantra, on this day, I will make time to journal about my feelings as a way of expressing the grief I hold from my childhood. Very good. Very good stuff. I did not take the time to even read the copyright thing because, frankly, I don't give a shit today. I don't, the legalism, the rules, all the fucking stuff. If I'm spiritually off, I don't care. I don't care about your fucking rules. I don't care about your fucking laws in the USA or anywhere in the world, quite frankly. I just don't fucking care. I'm not going to obey them sometimes, and I don't want to. Could be the inner rebel coming out and saying, fuck off. I guess I was triggered yesterday by my therapist who, it's like, he's not going to see me anymore because I'm not in the country and there are rules there. And what the fuck does it matter? Um, if somebody needs help, they're going to jump off the fucking building or something. Help the goddamn people with your fucking rules. That's how people get killed. That's how people die. Is all the legalism and the red tape in that country, and anywhere in the world, but especially in the United States. I really can't stand that place sometimes. So there's a resentment there. I've got a resentment, but this is about journaling. This is about grief work. I journal every day, and my journaling does help me to pinpoint what's off and what's going on with me. I journaled before I made this video, and I said I'm in depression. I'm stressed about making arrangements for this trip that I'm going on, and feeling a lot of pressure, isolating, not taking care of myself, not breathing. I'm holding my breath, and I'm out of my body when I'm holding my breath. I can't be present if I'm not in the breath. It's very hard to do. I'm having to suck in air, mouth breathing, not nose breathing. I have a deviated septum as it is, so it's a little more challenging for me to nose breathe, but I can feel the pressure and the stress. I don't feel relaxed. I don't feel calm. And I felt a little emotional at the end of that reading because I realized that what the reading says, it says we were robbed of as children and even adults. Yeah. And I guess that kind of hit me subconsciously that I do feel robbed. I feel robbed. When I journaled as a kid, to give you an example, not a kid really, I was 17. I was almost, I guess, an adult, whatever the fuck that means. Some arbitrary line we draw in the sand to say, hey, this person's a kid and this person's an adult. I mean, it's all arbitrary and subjective. But when I was 17, I wrote a journal entry essentially that was scathing, and it was about an incident that happened at my mom's house, and everybody was up in arms about some kids had bashed the mailbox, and I was really critiquing them harshly. And my mom found that journal entry. I'd hid it in the Bible where I didn't think she'd ever look. Sure enough, she found it, and she really shamed the shit out of me over that. And I think that was when I was banished to the basement. So around that time, I had to go live in the basement because I, to her, I had, cut so deeply, and I had been so disloyal and scathing and critical of our family that I guess I deserved to live in the basement at that point. So I had a bedroom down there at that point. I wasn't able to live upstairs anymore. It was an ultimate punishment. So it was kind of a nasty place to live. Brown recluse spiders. It was cold. It was a little spooky down there. And it was another way to further isolate me from the rest of the family. I'd already been shamed for all those fucking years of stuff I did in middle school. And so, being treated as a scapegoat, being shamed for all the trouble I got in at middle school, being separated from the family. Yeah, talk about grief. This is grief work, man. This is fucking unexpressed grief and loss. That was a lot of loss to have to go through. Thanks, Mom. Appreciate it. You know, so there was that being isolated from the family, from dinners, and then of course writing a journal entry and being fucking slapped down for it, just beat down and say, hey, you're not allowed to fucking express yourself here. You're not allowed to express your anger or your criticism of the family. You're going to get banished to the basement. So that was just the final way to further separate me from the family. And then in a way that just rippled out into my feeling isolated from society and the world at large. So I became antisocial, anxiety, especially being antisocial. I mean, maybe I already had some of those tendencies, but that sounded the death knell on my ability to really socialize properly with people. A lot of stuff started coming out sideways, but yeah, we're talking about some pretty heavy stuff here. This is talk about grief. For me, yeah, this talks about journaling, and that was kind of the way to actually express myself. And like I said, I have a journal here, and I do it every day. I journal every day. So as a matter of fact, I'm actually going to show you what I do. Here it is. This is one journal of many, 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 many. This has got 80 pages, and I'm probably roughly 75% done with it. You can see all the pages I've written here versus what I haven't, roughly 75% or so. I've written quite a bit, and you can see all of this stuff in here. I've got flowers in here for my Japan trip. I've got all kinds of stuff going on. I journal every day. I miss a day or so here or there, but in general, I journal today, and I talked about feeling depressed and some resentments about things. And so, yes, this tool does help. I talk about my feelings, emotions, where the critic's coming out, where I'm having a lack of self love. This is a great tool. I would highly suggest any newcomer or adult child or wherever you are in your stage of recovery, your journey, journal, start writing, start writing. Non dominant handwriting is great too. Um, that was in the last video. That's another tool of recovery. That was yesterday, June 19th. If you haven't seen that, go check that June 19th video out. It's non-dominant handwriting exercise and how to do it. Um, yeah, I'm pretty pissed about some things, especially Tibet. There are a lot of rules. The Chinese government's got a lot of fucking bullshit rules in place. It's expensive. I don't like that at all. And I'm not sure how I'm going to proceed. I've been asking my kids, do they really even want to go on the trip? It's a lot of hassle, but I do need to get out and I know I need to go get refreshed and see some things. My girlfriend and I are going on a trip soon. I'm highly looking forward to it. It's in a few days, and we're going to go check out some Buddhist temples up in the mountains, which is going to be awesome. And it's going to be a great hike and a lot of good exercise. And I get to see her, and we get to spend time together and grow and learn and laugh and love and have fun. So that's going to be fun. But in the meantime, we just do the best we can, one day at a time. Journal, journal, journal. If you're not a writer, do a voice recording. Yeah, I have used voice recordings as well. If you don't like to write, just journal that way, and record your voice and keep it all together. Or you can do text or speech to text or text to speech or whatever, and just get these things recorded and documented somehow so that you have something to go back and look at, because in the future you're going to want to see what progress you've made, and you can go back and you can find out by looking at these old journals or audio recordings, audio journal recordings. Do a video recording. You can do those things too. That's why these videos are kind of in a way a journal of sorts, a video journal of sorts as well. But one of the things I'm discovering in the journal is, my fear of conflict. Yesterday I was at the restaurant. I'm finding that what am I discovering? There's still a lot of voices in my head, comparing me, doing a play by play, comparing myself to others or what they're thinking or what they're saying about me. Um, really awkward about being around other people and how to communicate with them, especially if I feel like they haven't seen me and I need to like make sure I acknowledge their presence. And I get real scared of, fearful of people if I'm going to make them angry or whatever. And really a lot of competition still, comparing myself to others, what others have done, what things they've accomplished. I just read a writer who was talking about his trip, their pilgrimage from Lhasa to Kathmandu, Nepal. Lhasa, Tibet, Kathmandu, Nepal. Back in the early '90s, a couple who had done this, and his writing in there in that little story, that article was amazing, spectacular writing. I'm like, wow, my writing's not like that at all, man. So when I'm trying to get a novel published, and then I'm comparing, and the critics coming out, but yeah, there's stuff that I got to work on, and some scars are never going to be healed. Um, my therapist recommended that I do some um, dialectic behavior therapy. So I guess I'm going to have to review what that entails, and then I need to do some self-love, um, abundance therapy, because that's the opposite of self-love deficit disorder, which I believe I have, and I need to, and that doesn't respond well to psychotherapy. So I have to start doing some self-love abundance therapy, and I need to look into that too. But journaling is a great way to go. This video has been a little long. There's a lot to say, and I hope all the best to you and your family and friends and your inner family, and yourself. Please hang in there. Don't jump off the buildings. Hang in there. Things will improve. And until next time, all the best. We'll see you.